Okay, I hope. Okay, I'm back. All right. So we're gonna prepare state change event here. Yeah, and it's gonna include the index of a button pressed. So new state, old state. Well, we can have it here, right? And I think, yeah, we can just go ahead and clone the content of this option. And for that to work, of course, because we need to drive clone and everything. Great. And the state change is going to be like the index of a button is going to be a usize. So we've prepared a new state, an old state is known. So basically we can just push this change here. So entity is going to be current index. Old state, yeah, we have an old state. And we have new state. That's right. Okay, what's wrong here? All right, moved. Like this. So what I just did, just for the duration of this check, we don't want to consume the old state. Well, technically we can make this copy. Is instant copy? Yeah, it is. But we can make this copy, and then we don't have to do this kind of as ref dance. But if we introduce any properties that are not copy, then we'll have to refactor everything into this as ref thing anyway. So I think it's a good idea to explicitly take a reference of the content of what's inside this option. Okay, so okay, process, button state process. What do we now can do when we, first of all, let's create our button state, and I think it should work just fine. It'll initialize with an empty vector, and yeah, so when a new event comes in, it only iterates through this, it never unwraps. So okay, so it's going to be fine. And the API, the StreamDeck API works like in such a way that it always sends you all the buttons, so like the vector is going to be always at the same size. It's not going to be a problem here. Okay, so now we feed state. Okay, first of all, let's that. What's that? Event. Const type apparently. Okay. Okay. Oh, Alexis, yeah, thanks for the follow. Like I'm not gonna be streaming Rust on this channel always, but I am programming in Rust, and my Twitch title is absolutely wrong for this. Let's fix that while I'm at it. Okay. Okay, now at StreamDeck and OBS in Rustlang. Great. So yeah, I'm also flying FPV drones. I'm gonna be flying some simulators here, and another small project of mine. I'm trying to make an FPV kind of trainer app, just to hone your FPV drone flying skills. So this one, if I'm going to be developing it on stream, I'm going to be streaming it too. Anyway, but for now, I just found the StreamDeck used, bought it pretty cheap, and I'm trying to integrate it with OBS. Like, basic integration works, of course, with the default kind of with the de facto Linux application for StreamDeck, but it doesn't allow full integration. For example, there's no feedback. I can kind of simulate feedback, but it never actually fetches the current state from OBS, for example. So there's no guarantee. Like, its feedback is going to be based on its own events only, and not on the state of the actual application that's being controlled, in this case OBS. And it'd be nice to output some different stuff on StreamDeck, for example, maybe some slow kind of volume indicators, just to see how the mic's working. Is everything okay? Like, is music too loud or something? Just, you know, some basic checks, so that you don't have to use an actual audio mixer just to see the levels, or use an external monitor or some other thing just to see your audio levels. So something like that. Right now, what I'm trying to do is to just replicate the functionality that this default app has, StreamDeck UI on Linux. So I have 3 buttons. You press, it invokes handler, which in this case is just a command line utility, okay? And it talks to OBS, but there's no feedback. So that's what I'm trying to fix here. A lack of feedback. I want to highlight the button, like the scene that's currently active. I want to highlight it. So for example, I can change scenes like this. But there's no feedback on the StreamDeck screen itself. That's not optimal. I like to have some feedback, so that's what I'm going to implement. All right. Oh, and okay. This application, you have to exit it. It'll reinitialize the StreamDeck with the default image. And now I can run my app. Of course, like you can't control your StreamDeck with 2 apps at the same time. They talk to it via some human interface device interface. I thought it used some kind of UART serial interface, but apparently it used HID. Absolutely no problem with that, but same limitations apply. You can't connect to it with 2 different applications. Even if you could, they'd probably conflict in some way or another. Anyway, we're currently only interested in this button state change. The rest I'm just gonna ignore. So we've got this button state. Let's just call it new state like this. Feed to our state processor. And let's see, okay, let's see what it returns. Okay, so it now returns all the changes. And okay, so each button I think should have its own kind of a state machine associated with it. And we're going to be feeding so we're going to be iterating through these changes, right? Index and change. Is it? Oh, it's a vec. Like these things are going to be happening quite rarely on a scale of a program, like for processor cycles. So I have no problem returning a vector here. And the best part is, if nothing has changed, this vec new, it doesn't even allocate on heap. So it's a const ref. It returns something that's not even on heap yet. It only allocates on heap when you resize it, basically. When you insert an element into this vec, then it starts allocating on heap. Okay, so vecs. Oh, okay, it's state change. Well, that's okay. Let's. I'm not gonna destructure the change in place. I'm just gonna check its fields. Okay, so now button state. And now we have naming problem. Like what we currently have, it is a buttons state, but it's low level, right? It's only pressed, whether it's pressed or not, and that's it. But I think we need to associate more things with a button. If you hold the button, it has to track when was the last time it registered some event. For example, when you increase a volume with a button, you're not just counting how much time has passed. You're also every, say, 100 milliseconds or like 200 milliseconds, you emit another event, like you do something. You actually go and increase or decrease volume. So there's going to be quite a bit more to the button state, but the name's already taken. So I think what should do now is maybe button input state, because yeah, I think button input state actually is a good name for this. And button state I'll just rename into input state. We might have something like another entities, other StreamDecks supporting coders and such. So Okay. Yeah, let's see. So, yeah, I think it's all right. Input state of all the inputs, and okay, so now button state. So what the button's gonna do? Like in the simplest case, okay, let's implement it for the simplest case first, right? Honestly, I can implement the simplest case right now already, without anything additional. Just whenever the button state changes from off to on, execute an action. And maybe I need to start with that. And for that, I still need all the buttons and some structure and some button configuration, right? So a button, I think I'm gonna make it an enum, like kinds of buttons, just press buttons or buttons that react to long press events and emit events while they're pressed. Okay, let's probably do that. But for now, I'm only gonna support one button. And let's just call it button, not button state. So whenever you press it, it's going to execute an action via the OBS client API. And let's just add support for this action. Switch scene. Yeah, string. It's okay. Yeah, technically it doesn't have to be a string. It might be a str, but yeah, let's do that. Like for now, it's going to be a static string. Okay. It's going to take some time until I make this, I think, actually configurable. So the button, is just a behavior, and okay, let's leave this for now. So there's like a StreamDeck button, which is both an image displayed on a button and the behavior of this button. But for now, I'm not going to be concerned with image. I'm just gonna hard code it. Or should I? Yeah. Okay, so, all right, let's make a trait for this. Something that'll tell you what to show. Trait. I don't know how to call it. StreamDeck. Button display. Okay, on a StreamDeck, there's only a couple of options for what can have a display. There's like a touch strip and a button display. as far as I know. So okay, let's just do it like this: button display, and each button okay, so the button will implement it in such a way that it'll need to return an image to be displayed. And it might be a different image depending on the state, or if it's a volume indicator or something, or a mic level indicator. It might be completely dynamic, or a mic level adjustment. It might be, yeah, it might have some text written on it, like in dB or percent or whatever. So, it's going to have to return an image. Let's do just that. Actually, what kind of image does the API use? Or just a dynamic image? Okay. But it's always owned, right? Dynamic image is an owned structure. Like it owns the buffer. And in our case, we don't want that. Okay, so I think the API, yeah, the API is going to be like this: updated image, or image update, and it's going to take a mute self, it's going to return an option depending on whether the image was actually updated. I don't think we need to have a default for that. A default implementation. Right, and trait. Okay. So we're just gonna implement it for our button, and the button. Yeah, let's do it without feedback for now, or maybe just some feedback when you're actually pressing the button might be good. Like draw a border, for example, around the button. Okay, let's implement that. Anyway, it's gonna have an original image. Also, it's gonna have pressed, a variant of this image when the button is pressed. a command, like a scene. Okay, like for now. All right, we already have it, like action. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure an action will have to be clonable at some point. Or not? I'm not sure. Yeah, but we need it when we need it. It's not part of an API. We don't have to think it through thoroughly. So, okay, a button with an image update. Oh, and also it has, okay, it's just a button display. And button input. Okay, so process updates. Okay, again mute and update is gonna be state change. Like the problem now is that we don't need this entity at all. We're already invoking like a particular handler, so like this entity field is useless and meaningless. But well, we can just inline this struct old state button input state and new state button input state. This one has to be an option. It's a trait. Don't need to do anything. And button input. This definitely has to be async, because we don't know what we're gonna do with it. Like we're gonna execute some stuff. We're gonna invoke OBS API, WebSocket API. Okay, so button inputs. We're gonna implement both of those for a button. Image update. Okay, it has to include some actual state here, right? Whether or not it's pressed. Now we don't care about how long it's been pressed. But yeah, we'll implement this when I start doing the mic volume adjustment and such. Not mic, like desktop volume adjustment. Okay, so image updates. All right, let's have a dirty flag. Image dirty. So image dirty, then depending on the state, we can return either, if it's pressed, then self image pressed, else an original image. Yeah, and we're gonna clone them. Okay. Okay, later I'll take a look at how to improve this API. I don't think we need to clone everything, but I think that's what the StreamDeck API accepts, right? Set button image. Yeah, dynamic image. It's always, yeah, it always owns the buffer. Yeah, okay. Right, so that's an image update. And let's implement button inputs for button. Process update. Oh, and let's implement button U too. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, that's actually enough. That's good. Image pressed. Let's take an image. Let's just contrast a little. And can we control border right here? No? Okay, let's only adjust the contrast. That's good. Action, just pass the action. We assume the default state is it's not pressed. And image is dirty. Because we want the outer loop that's going to be feeding the state update to this button. On the first iteration, it should always display button's image. And that's why these traits are separate, because this display is going to be invoked even before any input can occur. Yeah, that'd be weird if buttons only refresh their image after being pressed, right? Like when you initialize it, boot up your StreamDeck, but the buttons have to display their corresponding images. Okay, so entity, we don't need that, right? Oh no, we do, because, well, yeah, we need... Oh, actually, it's good. It's good, because not all buttons, not all physical StreamDeck buttons have to be assigned something. So for now, it's just going to be a hash map or something similar from the button index to this button struct. And then we just feed all the input events and display updated images. Okay, so let's do just that. So button number 0 is going to be a button. Yeah, let's use a constructor. Dynamic image. Let's make it this one. Okay. And action is going to be switch scene to, what is it, BRB? Yeah, then it's going to be a scene called BRB. And let's populate the buttons. Okay. So we don't need that. And for every button that we have, okay, index and button and buttons iterator, actually iter mute, I think, is it? Oh wait, yeah, this doesn't really have to be. Oh no, it does have to be. Like, if it's dirty, then we'll clear the dirty flag. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's great. So now we can, for each button that has an image, why can't I access button display trait? Well, anyway. Ah, no, I can. Just if let some image, and then we update bitmap for this button. Was it I32? Is it correct? No. Expected U8. Ah, of course. Sure. Okay, U8. And button. Okay. It's indexed by U8. Alright. And I thought that an index... Oh, and buttons are indexed by usize. Right. Okay. Let's choose a smaller size then. It's just a little bit of a weirdness of StreamDeck API. I mean, this particular implementation of API. Okay, so... Oh, no. No, it isn't. It's just what I'm doing. Okay, entity is indexed as U8. That's it. So it should now fix everything. And that's going to be an AU8. All right, so we're going to display our images already. That's good. So when we go and process, yeah, we just okay, let's sum button get mute at index change entity, or else we just continue. Okay, so it's basically it's quite a new syntax in Rust. Instead of writing if let, okay, let button equal if let sum button like this, if let and else continue. But it's the same kind of syntax. Then button. See, I already forgot how to use an old syntax. So this is just a shortcut to this. So it's pretty useful. Okay, so now that we have a button to operate, process update and give it an old state and a new state, and we have them both. Change old state and change new state, right? Okay, state process iter. We're gonna go ahead and consume this vector. Oh, and since it's a future, we need to await in it. Okay, I think we're kind of done. Okay, process update. So it's going to invoke the action. Right now, the action itself isn't going to do anything. But we're going to fix that. So action. And we need some kind of state, like a read state. So our OBS client and such. It's called just global state, okay? I think it might not be a bad idea to actually grab this state. So here we have an action associated with the button, and the button is gonna, yeah, so it's gonna invoke this action here. So in every process update, we're gonna have to yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's yeah, it's all right. So gonna pass global state here. Mutable reference to global state. And let's define the struct. Global state, and it's gonna have an OBS client. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what we can do here. So self action invoke. Maybe this process update needs to return a list of actions to invoke, or a single action to invoke. I kind of don't like passing states to this function, but let's just do it like this. It's a little bit too dangerous, it seems. Like the button itself, yeah, because then the button itself might want to invoke something on this action, and that's not what we want. Okay, so process update. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that. Not now, because it doesn't really change anything in terms of the proof of concept. Okay, so we're just gonna invoke it with a state. Oh, we're only gonna invoke it if the button's actually pressed. And since we already have the pressed, okay, let's just do it like this. Self pressed self-pressed is new state pressed. We don't need anything else. Okay, let's alt pressed, self pressed, and if self pressed and not alt pressed, let's just invoke an action. So here we have two ways of determining whether or not we've been pressed. We have our state here, right here in this button state, and we also have this old state and new state. We still need this pressed, like this indicator right inside our button, because that's what decides what image would render on this button. But like there are two ways of doing this. I'm not a huge fan of situations like this because there might be subtle differences between those two scenarios, but for now we're gonna ignore it. Maybe we only need to pass new state here, and then I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, also some buttons might want to listen for timer events, and it's going to be a completely different update. Well, it's going to be a different trait for that, I think. Okay, we'll get there when we get there. Okay, action invoke, and that's going to be async, by the way. And what's the problem here? Oh, okay. We'll remove it later. Okay. Invoke. And OBS scene. Wait, how do you switch a scene with this API? Ah, client scenes, yeah, client scenes, set current program. Set current program scene. Oh, wait, okay. So it might return an error, I think. What's wrong here? Oh, okay, no, it's just a mismatched type. You know what? I'm just gonna unwrap it. It's not a problem. Like later, I'll just search for all the unwraps and fix them. So, also mute state here. Right? Is it? Oh, no. Mute global state. This is input state. Okay, and this we no longer need. So let's try and run it. And this will just pass directly, it doesn't have to be mutable. All state, we're not using it here. That's great. Since, well, get to that later. And this we don't need. Okay. Okay, let's see how it goes. All right, so now we have 3 buttons, and let's see if they work. Yeah, they do. Well, they all switch to the same scene. Yeah, I would need to fix that first of all. Don't need any of that. And okay, BRB. Yeah, it's not pause. It's, what is it? Oh, it's actually game. Yeah, I messed up the file name. Okay. Okay, let's see. Right, it works. Okay, that's great. Oh, do we have some sort of feedback? Oh no. Okay, I see now. So every time we receive an event, I think what we should do is buttons. Yeah, let's for now just copy and paste it. I'm not sure where to integrate this thing into. I don't have a struct for this now. Oh, okay. And where do we set the dirty flag? There's an update, right? So we'll just set this to true unconditionally, because we won't receive an update if nothing has changed. It might be some different kind of update, but like in this particular example, only a button press can get registered, and it's either button press or release, and on both such events would need to update an image. So, nope, nothing. Okay, so maybe there's something wrong with how like adjust contrast. Okay, and don't see anything happening here. Like image pressed. Okay. All right, let's just do some printf debugging. So this way we'll see when it's invoked and what image it returns. So, okay, false. Oh, true and false, right? That's weird, actually. Why would it be false? That's quite weird. Okay, so okay, what would set it to false? Let's let's try it once again. Without, oh, okay, all right, that's because there are 3 buttons, right? Okay, let's delete other buttons for now, and actually let's only leave this one, because otherwise I'll switch my scene back to something I don't want to switch to. Okay, all right, let's try it like this. So the button itself works, and let's see what kind of events it generates. Okay, so it seems that it's just the image proc API. Doesn't adjust contrast properly. Yeah, let's blur it. Okay, let's blur the hell out of it. Okay, now it works. So I see, yeah. Nice, so get some feedback. Just pressing the button. I think I need to switch transition from swipe to fade. Just for the time being. Because I'm pressing the button and just like the same screen swipes onto itself. Okay, let's restore our buttons. Also, let's actually use proper buttons, like 3 left vertical, like in a vertical column. Right now it's 0, 1, and 2, and that's top 3 buttons. So it's gonna be 0, 5, and 10. And let's run it. Yeah, great. So this part now works properly. Okay, let's take a break first. Also, I'm gonna see what's wrong with my YouTube stream. Anyway, see you later.